So here we go, video number 2 on the practice test of simplifying radicals and rational exponents. We're going to move to the second half of the practice test. On the previous video, we did the first half of it. Let's look at number 16 through 19. It says write each expression in radical form or write each radical form in exponential form. So we're just going to be changing the way they look. Now remember, in order to do that, you need to know this, that any root to any variable, any base to whatever power can be rewritten as the base to a rational exponent, power over root. Okay, this is what we need to know in order to be able to do number 16 through 19. So, Andrea, we have x to the 1/2. What does that actually mean? It means the square root of x. Now, the 12 that's out here in the front, you're just going to put the 12 out in the front. There's a big difference when you actually have parentheses.
What is going to do with 10?
This is the test right here. Number 17, they're not asking us to simplify. You don't want to rewrite this as 4 times 5. This is a square root of 20x, and they want you to rewrite it as an exponential form. So instead of, you're not going to simplify, you're just going to rewrite it. Now, what do I mean by rewrite it? 1/2 power is the same thing as a square root. All you have to do is put the 20x on the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the answer I want to see on the test tomorrow. Let's look at number 18 here. Remember, the denominator is always the root. So we're going to start by writing the 4th root. Why 4th? Because the denominator is 4 on this exponent. And we're going to have the x on the inside and the power of 3 on the inside. And that's it. That's your answer on question 18. Moving on to 19. That's the 5th root. Again, we are not simplifying. All you're doing is rewriting from radical to exponential or exponential to radical. So right here, I'm going to rewrite this as the 25x to the 3rd. The whole thing was inside the radical, so I need to put that whole thing in parentheses and write to the 1/5 power. And that's it. You see? It's easy. Okay, so those are like 4 free points that everyone should get right on tomorrow's test. And down here on number 20, these are really easy to do. These are very similar to what we have on our homework. Again, this is a practice test that's almost identical to the real test, but if you actually want the identical questions, where could you find the identical questions? Your homework, that's right. Okay, so right here, number 20, 3 to the x, we know that we would love to have the same base. So here's 3 to the x. I would love this to be a 3, but I don't know what this number should be up here. So you're going to get a calculator and you're going to start guessing. You're going to try 3 to the 7th. And if you try 3 to the 7th, what do you get? So you get 2,187. That's too small. So try 3 to the 8th.
Oh, I got 3 to the 8th.
Yeah? So all you're going to do is start guessing and checking with the calculator. You know it's 3 to the 8th. So once you have the same base 3 and base 3, you could just forget about them and focus in on the exponents. The x comes down, the equals comes down, the 8 comes down. And if you had something that you could solve, you solve it. But right here, it's already solved for you. Your answer is 8. Let's take a look at number 21 here. What do I want the 729 to look like? What do I want the 729 to look like? 3 to a certain power, right? Because this over here has 3 to the x minus 4. So anyways, 3 to what power is 729? You just got to guess and check. 3 to the 6th? So what we really have is x minus 4 equaling 6. Because the 3's cancel out, x minus 4 equals 6. And when you solve that thing, you go plus 4, x equals 10. We're done. You got it? Let's move on to 22. What would we like this huge, nasty number to be? I would like it to be what? 6 to the something. Now, the left one is 6 to the x minus 2, the left side. But what value will give us a 7,776? 5? 6 to the 5th? So now that you rewrote it, now you could just cancel out the 6's and bring down the x minus 2 equaling 5. And then you could go plus 2, and your final answer is x equals 7. Let's try number 23. Wrong way. We don't want 65,000. We want 4, we want 4 to a certain power that'll give us 65,536. Question is, can you guess to find that number? 4 to the 8th? Does everybody agree? Okay, so 4 to the 8th power will actually give us 65,536. Now, over here on this side, I have 4 to the 3x plus 2. But once you know that your equation, both sides have the same base 4, you could just scratch out the 4's and create a new equation with the exponents. 3x plus 2 equals 8. Then you just solve it. Minus 2 minus 2. You're going to end up with 3x equals 6, which means that if you were to divide by 3 on both sides, your answer would be what? X equals 2. Boom. Let's try the last one, number 24. 2 to what power?
13.
13? Okay, you guys have the calculators, so yeah. 13 equals 2 to the 4x minus 3. Of course, you're able to scratch out the 2's, create your new equation that says 4x minus 3 equals 13. And then you could solve it by adding 3. You're going to have 4x equals 16, which means x equals, when you divide both sides by 4, what does it equal?
3.
4.
Oh, wait.
16 divided by 4 is 4. Now notice, we do have this last question.
We also have to do that one?
You have to
Oh, I didn't read it.
give the best one that you have. Right now, no. Right now it doesn't matter because you haven't studied yet. But hopefully tonight you watch all the videos and you do all the homework. You finish all the homework. That way you could pick option E. All right, guys. Both videos explain every single question. All you have to do now is study.